So I didn't want to forget to do today's video, so I am out and about on the go. So I was reflecting on something this morning. So I saw something in the travel press, and it was talking about how there were four women who, in their first year of training and doing sort of travel agency things through a travel academy, how the four of them had completed £1 million worth of sales, which is no mean feat. So I'm congratulating them. Now, what this got me to thinking was quite a few decades ago now, back in my days of Thomas Cook, I think it was 1993, as a relatively newcomer to travel, I worked for Thomas Cook Direct, and Thomas Cook Direct was, I think it was 250-seater open plan call centre, and I loved it in there. I thrived in there, and I set myself a goal that even though I was a newbie, that I would do £1 million worth of sales. Now it took me 9 months, but I did it. I hit the target, and it was only when I read this article this morning I was like, actually, how did that happen? And I'm actually going to share a couple of ways that this happened, which are not the usual shares, or perhaps not what you're expecting from me. So the first thing was, I would, as everybody else would, we would take calls, we would have access to different things. Remember teletext back in the day, any of you? Some of the teletext bookings, we were responsible for taking those calls and taking those bookings. So, of course, I loved selling ski holidays. I loved the group, like chalet holidays, even though at that time I had never been skiing or snowboarding myself. I did later on and I loved it, thankfully. I always used to love those group bookings. And I would always ask a lot of questions that some of them pertain to the holiday, where did you want to go, how many people traveling, and all that kind of stuff. But I'd always ask a lot of questions of the people booking to find out a bit about them and almost match make a good holiday for them, present it to them. And of course, they had the opportunity or option to go to competitors, to go into the branches, to not book over the phone. Because think about this, pre-internet, 1993, people would prefer to see the whites of somebody's eyes and make such a big purchase. So, number one, what did I do? And I think this maps out to any industry or anything that you are selling. It's good to get very, very clear, number one, on what it is the person is actually looking for, what their expectations are, what they want, so that you can make a good fit. Number two, ask broader questions. A lot of people in the travel industry, when I've done and delivered sales trainings, have said that they felt a little bit like order takers. How many people is it for? Where do you want to go? And it doesn't have to be that way. So, regardless of what it is that you're selling, what it is that you offer, whether it's a product or a service, be sure not only to ask the questions that are necessary to find out about the fit, but also ask the right questions that are relevant to the person or the people that you are serving. There'll be information around the periphery, which is really, really important. And thing number three that I wanted to share, as I reflected on this journey earlier today, I remember there was a particular woman actually in the call centre who would hit her £1 million years in like 3 or 4 months. She was really great and a specialist at selling cruise holidays. And you might be forgiven for thinking, well, she was selling cruise holidays, they were higher value, of course she's going to hit her target. But think about this, £1 million worth of holidays in 4 months. Think about this. It's an amazing feat. And I remember on one particular day, I got a cruise inquiry. I helped the person along. They'd had a brochure, they were mapping everything out, and they were happy to book. And I thought, this person is a cruise specialist. I should really go over to them and check. So I put the customers on hold, went back, took the information, went over and spoke to this woman at her desk. And here's the thing about sales. She could have said, hand that over to me, I'll finish that, thank you very much. She very generously, if I can get my words out, very generously advised me that as I'd done so much work on the booking, she'd happily help me, but that I should still finish and have the sale. How generous is that? So the reason that I bring this up as an example is quite often we can get into, especially if you're a business owner or a founder, we can get into this mode that we have a bite of a cherry that we need to consume, and we can forget that there's places for, I want to say, authentic generosity. And it's the reason why in the Visibility Vibes system, the 5 pillars, in the last pillar, I talk about sales, whether it's sales of a product or service, or whether it's us and our ability to sell ourselves. So I have to say, teamwork does really make the dream work, because without that particular woman, my sales target might have plummeted. But she was very generous in encouraging the people around her to grow, to learn, to find out more, and to be able to achieve their own goals too. So all these years later, I am forever grateful. So that's my day. I think it's day 86, maybe video today, but it'll say somewhere around here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting. And I hope that you find something of insight to you. Think about something that I've said and how you can apply it to what you do. And if you're like, oh, Jenny, this is so last year, I know all this stuff that you talk about. Think about how you can then build on it to make it even more successful and to make it work for you. And if you've got an insight or a story to share, pop it in the comments below. I would love to hear about it. But that's it from me. Until tomorrow, bye for now.